want to go in the marsh?
No. I very clearly said no. Which means no.
Hey guys.
Very sorry this one's taken so long, folks. Normally, Alison goes first and I get to riff off what she's saying, but once again, we're doing something a bit different. This time, Alison's in charge of the on-the-spot reporting, and I'm in charge of the accompanying op-ed. All of the opinions and all of the editing. In other words, I'm doing all of the talking this time. So yeah, we're both going out of our comfort zone just to watch this shit. But Alison has gone further, right into the heart of the discomfort zone. You can't spell safe space without discomfort zone. If you know anything about casting spells. Okay, abortion safe, legal, and accessible. You mean like it already is? Is this why they come out to advocate for keeping things the way they are? And for opposing and ousting anyone who might change things? Can anyone remind me what reactionary means? And is this why you had to invent neo-reactionary? To describe people who oppose reactionaries? Because for what it's worth, that used to be called progressive. And that's why we call you regressives. It's all rather complicated. How you doing, Alison?
I am fucking terrified of this.
Hang on in there, little buddy. There you go, she's got it in English. Well, upside down English, which is slightly easier for me to read than sideways Spanish. Or was it Portuguese? I don't even know. I mean, you had one job. Hold up a sign. I suppose you weren't debriefed on the intricacies of your duties. Hold it the right way up if you can. Alright, I'm bored already. Speed it up, please. Christ, it's even boring at 10 times the speed. Are they the only two signs anyone has? Abortion, safe, legal, and affordable, and stop the war on women. Do you not even see how they kind of contradict each other, given the current state of... See, if I had a sign saying, stop the war on men, legalize paternal surrender, that would be quite divisive, but it would at least be consistent, because it's a call to legalize something that is currently illegal. Like, stop the war on drugs, make drugs safe, legal, and affordable. See how that makes sense? But from the only two signs I've seen so far, these folks think there's a war on women going on, and the only act of war they can think of is taking away the right to financial or physical abortion, which is a right that women already have, and only women. It's a war on women, and the only casualties are men. How does that work? Yeah, like same as all the other wars. Men get robbed and murdered by foreign governments and their own, and women are the primary victims of that. What? Carry on. And I mean without me. Oh, we got a new sign at last. A lovely navy and white motif. What does it say? Oh, stop the war on women. It's the same as the other, but in different colour and shape. You know, what about a sign saying stop the gender war? Wouldn't that make more sense? No, because that would be inclusive of the sentiment, stop the war on men. What all of these signs are essentially saying is stop the war on women, but continue any war that might be going on against men, because there is no war on men. Now let's go ahead and get those misogynistic harassers. Have them arrested and charged for engaging with women on Twitter. A war is when at least two sides are fighting. Yeah? Not when one side is conducting invasion after invasion and the other side are just trying to get on with their day-to-day jobs because they're legally obliged to. That is not called a war, that is called a massacre. That's called ethnic cleansing. And yes, the people who conduct ethnic cleansing generally do it while chanting, "This is war." Even though it's clearly not a war, it's just thuggery and occupation and bloodshed. Unreciprocally, from one side to the other. Cunts. Just cunts. Alright, carry on. Oh, huzzah! A new one. An actual new one. Our bodies, our lives, our voices. What if I were to tell you I disagree? What if I were to tell you your body in fact belongs to the mob, your life belongs to the state, and your voice belongs to Allah? And so does that blastocyst growing in your belly. Do you have a problem with that? And do you have any idea who or what you are marching towards? Dickheads. Alright, this is getting exceptionally boring now. Alison, go off-road. That was actually rather exciting. That sounded like a car coming to a screeching halt, didn't it? But it was in fact the sound of women. Just coming to a screech. It's like the sound of the dead. This is why we have stories of mythical creatures like banshees and sirens and shit. Because when a large group of women is on the warpath, literally on the warpath, they make a noise like 1,000 wailing ghoul spirits escaping from a haunted forest. I need a change of scenery. Overreacting. Called it. Was it me or was it Hannah who came up with that? I think it was a team effort, that particular pun. But you should know, slogans like that don't really work as ammunition in your favour. It's like me holding up a sign saying, "No, I am not a dictator." With a K. It's funny either way, but it will inspire my enemy's rhetoric more than my friends' rhetoric. Do you see? You can appropriate most weapons, but Superman can't appropriate kryptonite. I'm speaking right past you, aren't I? Never mind.
Associated in the past with increases in...
This person in the middle has got their sign wrong. It says, keep abortion legal. You can't say keep abortion legal. That reminds people that it already is. That's why most of the signs just say abortion. Legal, safe, and accessible. Because we're trying to keep each other suspended in this fantasy world where it isn't already. There are signs all around you saying stop the war on women, and you're making them look silly. Sort it out, whoever you are. Does that say ISIS? Resist. Resist. Meh, close enough. Shut it down, YouTube. A wise man is truly foolish. He has no one to share his wisdom with. Fear Trump, not immigrants. Yeah, can you... How about sort of not fear-mongering at all? Is that possible? Might that make you any better than the coarse, niggardly reactionaries you're supposed to be opposing? Yeah, very much dying with being an asshole. Driving will be a pain in my ass. Yeah, like that, see? No fear-mongering, just God's greatest gift. Sorry, mate, but you've been shown up by the Christians. At least they're being positive. Until they start barking on about atheists being the scum of the earth and whatnot. Oh, there's always one.
How to love, tell the truth, and have compassion for our fellow man.
The dominant religion, folks. Hegemony in action.
Without God, it's going to be nearly impossible to do the right thing.
I don't know if you... There's a preacher lady there with a microphone. I don't know if you can make it out. I don't know if you can spot it through all this adoring rabble. If I do this for long enough, I'll eventually reference every Blackadder joke and every Red Dwarf joke. I'm like a monkey with a typewriter, except I have realistic goals. Speed up, please. Oh shit, what's that? I can only see it from behind, but it looks like a woman sitting on the shoulders of a man. And perhaps holding up a sign saying, "Men don't help women anymore." Or women hold up half the sky. Yeah, no, they don't. Men hold up the sky. Men hold up society. Men hold up women. And women hold up pieces of warmongering propaganda. I don't know what to do other than make scared faces and scary noises. There are no more signs. No more substantial statements for me to argue with.
We join in solidarity.
Ooh, what's this? That sounds like Eve Ensler. Or one of her rat baby clones, at least.
With women across this planet and the world.
The planet and the world? Are you sure you're in the world?
And this country who are rising for justice, equality, and a right to do whatever we want, when we want it, where we want it, with our bodies.
Oh, I see. It's a rapist convention. I mean, I don't know what else to make of this. I mean, how would you even put that in a chant? I think we're about to find out.
What do we want?
Whatever we want!
What do we want?
Whenever we want it!
We don't get it.
Shut it down!
With our bodies! Which makes no fucking sense. Unless you are presently having an out-of-body experience. Which, yeah, fair enough. You probably all are. Permanently.
Shut it down!
Those signs are everywhere. The Stop the War on Women signs. I think it's mass producing them in every street corner. Mustn't forget, this isn't just an invasion. There's a war going on. And one of the sides needs to stop fighting and just surrender to women. The fact that this chant is being led by a man is indeed ironic, but it gets less ironic the more you get used to it. Let's get back to the main feature.
We stand with our immigrant sisters and brothers.
And their right to rape whoever, to do whatever they like with their bodies. This is why Muslim women scare the shit out of me. If they rape you, no one will believe you. No one. Except in those countries over there, obviously, where over there, women are constantly getting charged with raping men. Here's what happens in those places. A woman rapes you, you get charged with rape, and then you get to choose between marrying her or being publicly executed. Exactly the same thing happens if you have consensual sex with a woman to whom you are not betrothed. Meanwhile, a bunch of fat-headed twats in the West will claim that your country forces women to marry their rapists. You know what a shotgun wedding is, don't you? Yeah, yes, you know exactly what a shotgun wedding is. It's when a man is falsely accused of rape and forced on pain of death to marry the woman who fucked him. And yet you can look at a country that governmentally enforces shotgun weddings nationwide, and all you can say is, gird the poor women's. And you read the Bible to discover that shotgun weddings have been religiously enforced for thousands of years. It's seduction law put in place to stop young men from seducing young women, and it's done by referring to seduction as rape. And it's been going on since fucking antediluvian times. People have been abusing the nuclear social power of rape accusations to extort lifetimes of labour from men for the crime of having consensual sex so much as once. Or being raped. And all you can say is gird the poor women's. Listen to me, right? Sometimes the man is a real rapist. And sometimes the woman is the real rapist. Usually it's neither. But in all of these possible scenarios, the man is the one with the shotgun in his back. Every single time. Now, I won't go so far as to call that pure misandry, but if anyone goes so far as to call it pure misogyny, then I will raise my hand to speak, if that's fine dilly-dandy with y'all.
Our immigrant sisters and brothers being forcefully refused at our borders.
That is what borders are for. Oh, sorry, that's right. You don't want any boundaries on anything except white men.
And removed
Wow, see how quickly we got on to something that doesn't happen to American mothers, but constantly happens to American fathers.
Removed without love from their homes and jobs.
Yeah, but it happens to immigrant fathers as well, so whoop, into the wormhole we go, and rich white women are the victims. Hallelujah.
We say not in our name.
Only good things are done in our name. When everything appears to be running smoothly, feminism did it. When everything crashes and burns, not in our name. Yeah, well, we'll figure out why NASA has feminism to thank for their recently increased funding. Probably something to do with emotional labour, that'll do. But rest assured, when they put a woman on Mars, that will be in our name. Unless she dies tragically, in which case patriarchy killed her.
We stand with our sister workers who struggle for equal pay
No.
and decent working conditions
No.
and voting rights.
No.
We're going to surround the building and take back that building for women's rights.
By the way, I don't think of this as a brush with which to tar all women's rights advocates. Because some of them advocate inclusively for women's rights. The ones who don't are usually called feminists.
This is a dark and dangerous cloud has passed over our already darkened nation.
That's racist!
We are in the grip of a regime led by a predator-in-chief
Is that like a super predator?
That's racist!
who would like to push us back.
Nice sign, by the way. Keep your tiny hands off our rights.
Who would like to push us back.
Not making fun of the disabled, are you? Is it okay when anyone does it? Or is it not okay when anyone does it? Or are people not actually doing it and just making shit up?
Who would like to push us back to a time when women were gagged, silenced, chattel.
Look, women weren't treated like chattel 100 years ago in distant history. We've established that as a community. I mean, as a genre. But women are treated like chattel 1,000 miles away in distant geography. See, women over there are treated like women over here 100 years ago. But in our case, it wasn't chattel, and in their case, it is still chattel because they don't have the because they can't. Well, look, it's certainly not because of xenophobia. I speak out against xenophobia. I'm one of the good people.
Objectified, forced to have babies, made guilty about sex and desire.
All things that happen to men and boys. They go to school to be treated like a walking rape stick, and then they enter the real world to be treated like a walking wallet. Do you know what it's like to be treated like a rape stick or a wallet? No, but you do get the victim points because your great-great-great-grandmother knew exactly what it was like to be treated like a rape stick or a wallet. Right? Those poor weak women over there know what it's like. I mean, I'd much rather be treated like a rape stick than be treated like a baby-producing machine. Because rape stick is a much better description of my nature. I don't produce babies. What do I look like, an organism?
And denied agency over our bodies.
Okay, what? Denying someone's rights over their body is when you don't let them do things with it. Like when you cut pieces off it without their consent. Or when you make it a crime for them to spread their legs on a train carriage. Or when you make it a hate crime for them to look at a woman on a train carriage. Or a poster of a woman. It's when you force them on pain of prison to drag their bodies into a factory at 6 a.m. every day to pay for a family they didn't choose to have. That is taking away someone's rights to their body when you don't let them do whatever they want with it. Taking away someone's agency over their bodies is when you let them get away with rape. It's when you let them get away with anything and then you blame it on someone else.
For justice, equality, Our bodies! Our bodies!
What do we want? What do we want?
This speech is now officially unintelligible. I'm going to have to resort to picking out some highlights. Somehow.
And I've had cancer, and I can tell you, if you don't get screening for cancer, you die.
That's exactly what the last ghost told me, and I didn't believe her either. Fucking spirits coming at me with their white privilege.
You will not take agency over our bodies.
Okay then. Agency requires accountability. It requires some kind of boundaries to be met. Otherwise it's not agency at all. It's just a fantasy world of no consequences. Agency, by definition, involves some kind of approval, some kind of conditions.
You will not give us any conditions of approval because we don't need your fucking approval.
I'm not sure how much more I can take of this rapist convention, Alison. Please take me away from here. Sure, I know I advised against fear-mongering earlier on, but at this point I'm actually experiencing fear.
We gotta get militant. We gotta get bold. We gotta get angry. We have been patient with you because we are generous in kind, all too generous in kind. But our patience is wearing thin. And when it snaps, and it's gonna be soon.
You're absolutely sure this doesn't sound like Hitler to you?
You will see a power rise, an energy force unlike anything in your white man nightmares.
Racist demagoguery, check. Wagnerian ravings, check.
You don't even possess the imagination to perceive our power. We are 51% of the population, 70% of the workforce.
And yet you get minority status. Well, the actual minority group can go fuck itself. Perhaps in a gas chamber.
We literally are what makes the world turn round.
Literally! My Führer, you are gravity itself. Well, this is territory that's gone largely uncharted since King Canute. Fuck you, Canute.
We are fierce, we are resilient, we are raging, we are loving, and we know how to survive with nothing.
But we are nevertheless demanding everything. Because we needs it.
We are mysterious, and we are plotting, and we are penetrating.
No, penetrating. Looks like someone's got penis envy. Don't worry, I have being able to say that in public without being arrested for inciting rape culture envy.
So end the global gag rule now, or risk igniting the flame. Love you all!
Men are coming for you. End the Violence Against Women Act, or risk getting... I'm not even going to finish that sentence, because even though I'd obviously be playing the gender swap card, if I finish that sentence, that is enough to get taken deliberately out of context and turned into a misogynist terrorist threat. Well, you can say what you like in public if you like, to as many people as you like, but I'm going to be here to point out that it sounds awfully like your entire speech is one long misandrous terrorist threat. That will also be taken out of context. Because, sad but true, a lot of folks out there are exclusively in the business of taking shit out of context. They'll call you an ex-apologist. You'll respond with, well, I could just call you a Y feminist. How are we getting anywhere by calling each other names? And the next thing out of their face will be, oh my god, don't call people Y feminists. Who the fuck do you think you are telling people they're doing it wrong? And by the way, you're still an ex-apologist and I'm not. Arbiter of name calling, tell me more! See, brats exist. 20-year-old brats, 30-year-old brats, 40-year-old brats, and so on. They never grow up. That's why they're brats. They don't give any fucks except in burst ones. There's not a string of fucks long enough to hang you with. It's just fucks all the way down. All the hate in the world can never be enough. All the love in the world can. Is love a measurement of how far one can distract oneself from one's own mortality? Engagement with such entities should only be for the sake of other people's entertainment and education. And you can only do it for so long before everyone's got the point. Everyone except the small filter chamber of brats in question. Separatists will separate themselves, and then they'll call you the separatists. Because they're fucking mental. But it's not your problem anymore, because they've separated themselves. They've done you that much of a favour. Do yourself one and pay no mind. Goodbye and fuck right. I liked eating my Sunday titfer while I lick it on Tuesday, drinking Marmite Rosy and eating enchiladas. Tartars in the mould, tartars.
Honey badger lifts the face off the puppet master, chews it out like a honey master, spit it out into your copy pasta. The honey badger.
You there! Things! Yes, you will behold the things. You will go to the things, and you will be at the things, and you will be with the things, and you will be present alongside the things. If you do not behold the things being beholden unto the thing that is you, then you will have naught to behold but things which are not things, and things which are not things are hardly worth the time of a thing which is a thing such as yourself. Wouldn't you agree? Good.